Here is today's project. 2015 Ford Flex. Got to replace the front struts. For that, a number of tools will be required. Let me show you. These are going to be the items required. Obviously you need a strut and the appropriate nuts. Then there are other things that I use. You do what the fuck you like. A light, copper grease. Copper grease I put on the lug nuts. Helps next time they come off. An air gun. I'm lucky I have a compressor. Well, no, I'm not lucky. I paid for it. A magnet, because you're going to drop shit and that's easy to pick it up. A rope. I use this to hold the rotor in place while I'm removing the strut. Don't worry, I will show you this. You will need a variety of sockets. Let's see, what have we got? We have here a 24, I think this is. Yep, that's for the bolts that go through here. Then what do I have here? Another 24, just in case. I have, this is a 13/16. This is for the sway bar link. I don't happen to have a 21mm deep socket, so 13/16 is a good one. 19mm for removing the lug nuts. Two 15mm sockets. Those are for the top of the strut. You may also find you need a 15mm spanner. And a 21mm spanner and a 24mm spanner. You will also need this, which is a 6mm Allen. This is for removing the sway bar link. You will need a big rubber hammer, a metal hammer, a torque wrench for when you put the lug nuts back on, and I needed this in order to undo the bolts that go through here. What I did is I put the 24mm wrench on it, and then I put the pipe on the end to give me more leverage. Lever. So let's get on and do the job. Okay, number of things to note. Oh dear, excuse me, sweat in my eyes. ABS connection here, that just pulls out, a little rubbery thing, you just pull that out, and there's also a clip here, pull that out, just keep that out of the way, however you want. Then you need to undo the nut here, that is the 21mm with the Allen in the end. These bolts here, do not try and turn the bolt head. You can't. Why? Because there are teeth on the bolt that bite into the aluminium housing. So you need to get the nuts off. Those are 24mm. You need a deep socket, or as I'm going to use, a wrench. On the top, the strut mounts, they're the 15mm. Now some people take this nut off. I don't do that if I don't have to, and on this particular job you don't have to. What I will do is I'll put a piece of rope around these lug nuts or studs and tie it inside so that this doesn't fall outwards. If this falls outwards, you stand the chance of the CV axle coming apart. You don't want that, because then you've either A, got to buy a new CV axle, or spend hours hoping that you've got it locked back into position. So first things first, I've already done it. I've got that wire out of the way. Next I'm going to take out this nut here, and you probably will find when you undo the nut that there is still pressure downwards on this, and you may need to put a jack underneath to lift up the assembly so that you can get this out. And then once you've got the nuts loose at the top, you will find that this will come down. What I will do is I will leave one nut on at the top so that the strut doesn't drop when I take these bolts out. However, let's get on, do the work so you can see what happens. Okay, that's the limit. Well, never mind. It's just spinning in the firmament. Okay. So, I need to try and do, see if this works, is screw that in. Right. As I said, that is now down at an angle and it won't come out, so I've got to raise up the suspension. I have my handy little tool here to do that. You will have to do it with whatever method works for you. Okay. Okay, that's that done. Now, let's loosen these nuts. As I mentioned before, in order to get them undone, I don't have enough strength on this. I could try hitting it, however, with my piece of friendly pipe here, he says, oh dear, this isn't going to work, is it? Well, let's try on that bottom one first. Yeah, it's not having a key. This is where it's a real pain. Let me try the second method. Which is a good old rubber hammer. I hate doing this. Hang on, I've got to move you. You'll have to wait a minute. Right, the rubber mallet and give it a good old whack method worked. Sorry you couldn't see it, but I'm right-handed and I needed to be where the camera was. And I'm sure you know how to put a wrench on a bolt and hit it with a hammer. Okay. Very awkward in here. I've got it. Right. So we've disconnected the sway bar link, we've removed the nuts from the strut. As I mentioned before, you will not turn these bolts because they have teeth. However, my next task is to loosen the nuts up top. You can stay down here while I do it. Oh, this nut's fighting me all the way. Fucking bastards. It's always the one that's in the most awkward position that gives you the most grief. One point to note, when you get this back on level ground, then just go over these nuts one more time. The strut nuts. One thing I did before I started, I made sure I had one of each strut and that they were correct. They should be, but hey, you never know, do you? they're loose and I've left one nut on. Next is to knock the camera over. Right. Now it's the fun bit. You get to use a hammer and bang on these. They give you enough stuff to bang on, even if you burr it over, so you don't damage the threads. Get that wire out of the way. Now, this is the bolt. You see what I mean about the teeth? Oh, hang on, maybe you don't. There, can you see the teeth on that? Right there. So, do note that. Okay, so that's those two out, and you will note that the string is now holding everything there, and you can just bang that, and as you saw, it just popped straight out. Now all I've got to do is take that last nut off the top, which is tight, of course, good and tight. All right. I guess I left too many threads on. Alright, that's spinny finger time. So now, I'll take that final nut off and just pull this out. Depends which way you want to get it out. I want to get it out where this string is. Shot myself in the fucking foot there. Oh dear. Let's see if I can just get it to come down low enough. There we go. All right. That's that out. Oh boy. Covering me in shit. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, so that's not quite lining up, so we need to bring it up a bit. Whoops, too much. Now, if you're lucky, you might be able to turn the bolts so that the teeth line up again. That way they should go back in easier. But you will need the persuader, at least to get them started. Slip the nuts on and crank them down tight. Whilst we've got this up, I need it a little higher to get this link in, so let's do that. There we go. Actually, that needs to go just a tad higher, so I get it nice and square. And these nuts bind, so you don't really need Loctite on them. That is really pretty much it. Tighten the nuts down, put the ABS wire back on. Yeah, that's about it. When you put the lug nuts on, then torque them up to 95 foot-pounds. That is it. I don't know about a torque setting on these. I would say just do them a hellish tight. They are not going to go anywhere. There is no way that they're going to come undone, especially with the way these nuts bind and the bolts bind. There is nothing going to come undone. The only one you're going to have fun with is this one up the top here, that one, and the reason is that it will want to turn, but you can get there. Alright, that is it. Now get out in that garage, go do some shit.